Being rich isn't something one can achieve in a day. It takes years of planning and discipline. Most rich people will tell you stories of how they failed time and time again before they could attain their wealthy status. They understand the power and principles of money, which is why most of them keep spending their money on things that will multiply and ensure their wealth is not only sustained, but grows over time. Now, this doesn't mean rich people don't spend their money on luxury items, but before they do, they ensure that they have acquired certain assets that will grow their bank balances further. And in this video, I will share with you 7 purchases all rich people make. And if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button below for more life-changing content.
Sir Ahab 08.
Purchase number 1, real estate. One of the most common investments rich people make is in real estate. Buying investment properties ensures another viable source of passive income for them. It's a business where the possibility of losing is minimal, especially when the properties are located in strategic areas in a state or city. Having several streams of rental income means the owner can sit back and watch their buildings generate a steady inflow of cash. The good thing about rental income is that the owner of the property is sure of the amount of money they will get at the end of each month or year. This is unlike other streams of passive income where earnings cannot be accurately predicted. Another reason why rich people spend their money on real estate is the value of the property can appreciate over time, and they can choose to sell at a price significantly higher than the amount they purchased it at. This is great when you consider all the rent they have been paid over the years in addition to the profit made on selling the property. For instance, if an investor purchases a commercial property for $1 million and it generates $100,000 in rent every year, it means in 10 years the property would have generated $1 million, i.e. the initial cost of the property. If the value of the property appreciates by 40% and the owner chooses to sell, it means it would be sold for $1.4 million, or $400,000 of that being straight profit. I think you can now understand why rich people purchase real estate. Purchase number 2, startup businesses. Another thing rich people are interested in purchasing are startup businesses. If the business has the potential to become something big in the future, then it might be worth allocating money to. The startup business could belong to an industry that is on the rise, or could offer goods or services that no one else is offering. In such a situation, rich folks usually seize the opportunity to buy such businesses, knowing how profitable it would be in the future. Rich people from experience know the direction money moves, and can tell whether a business is going to be profitable or not. Hence, after consulting with their financial advisors, they can make an offer to the founder of the business. Such offers are usually mouth-watering and would be hard for the founder to refuse. The proprietor would consider the huge sum being offered and the fact that the risk of running the business will be eliminated. The money spent on acquiring these startups is usually small when compared to the amount of profits the investor expects to make from these businesses in the future. After purchasing the business, it would be up to the new owner to manage and run the business. The new owner would also carry all the risks and profits that come along with it. It is very common for wealthy individuals to buy out small startups. It is also common to see those small startups become successful companies, under the leadership of the new owner, of course. Purchase number 3, stocks. For most rich people, buying and owning stocks is a given. They understand the stock market and can identify undervalued stocks that they can buy and hold and almost ensure a profit when the time comes to sell. For stocks that are undervalued and do show promise, rich individuals often sink a ton of money into them, as these opportunities can be scarcer than you think. Stocks are usually long-term investments, and as I mentioned earlier, rich people do not want to maintain their wealth, but they want to grow it as well. Adding more stocks to their portfolio is a great way to do this. If there is a particular sector of the economy that is on the rise, rich people look for the most promising companies in that sector and buy their stocks. Stocks worth $100,000 today could be worth millions in the next 5 years. Purchase number 4, bankrupt businesses. When a business is bankrupt, it means it is unable to repay its outstanding debts. This would involve calculating the assets of the business and using a portion or all of the assets to repay the debt. It is very common for rich individuals to swoop in and buy out the business, especially if it still has potential to make good profit in the future. In some cases, the debts of the business would be absorbed in the sale, meaning the former owner would be free of it, while in other cases, they would be required to pay a portion of it. This all depends on how the transaction is structured. Businesses can run into bankruptcy due to mismanagement or bad business deals that lead to large losses. If a rich individual feels they can do better with the business, then acquiring it and bringing it back to its operational state may be a wise investment. Purchase number 5, a planner. For a wealthy entrepreneur, time is very important, not just for their business, but for their personal lives as well. For this reason, rich people spend their money on planners. Being rich usually comes with having a lot of daily, weekly, or monthly activities to attend. Keeping each and every piece of activity in mind without forgetting anyone is almost impossible for one person to do. A planner could be a human hired to work out schedules, meetings, travel, recreation, functions, etc. A planner could also be a digital product like a mobile app or a software that helps the individual plan their day-to-day activities. Digital planners set reminders and trigger alarms letting the user know what activities are lined up for the day or week and can include both business and personal items. It could be that all-important board meeting, the weekend's family reunion, or tomorrow's doctor appointment. Rich people understand the importance of time management and how vital it is in running their businesses. It would be very difficult to find a wealthy person who doesn't plan their time. Actually, it would be almost impossible to become rich in the first place if one's activities are not properly planned. Purchase number 6, intellectual property. As we all know, intellectual property is valuable, and it has made a ton of people around the world millionaires. Rich people are very aware of this, and that is why it is common for them to spend their money acquiring it. Intellectual property could be anything from a brilliant invention, an app, a software, an unpublished book, or a piece of art. A device that can charge a phone 10 times faster, or a book that can potentially be a bestseller are a few examples of intellectual property that can rake in millions or billions for the investor over time. When a person buys the rights to a piece of intellectual property, it means they can legally reproduce and sell it to the public or to another buyer. The buyer's reasons for purchasing intellectual property may differ. Sometimes it could be for the sake of making a profit, like when they buy the rights to publish a book, or based on emotions, like when they buy a piece of art they connect with. Let's take an unpublished book for instance. If a rich person comes across one, he or she can make the author an offer to buy the publishing rights of the book. Depending on the deal, the author can accept his writing credits, but in very rare cases they don't. The deal could also grant the author some percentage of the profit from sales. The buyer, upon sealing the deal, will be able to reproduce and sell the book. Here's an example. In May of 2014, Apple announced its intentions of buying Beats Electronics, Beats by Dre, for $3 billion, of which $400 million of the payment would be in Apple stock, while the remainder was in cash. It is the largest single acquisition in Apple's history. Therefore, even the largest businesses in the world see the value in intellectual property, so if you want to make purchases like the rich, then you should put this item on your shopping list. Purchase number 7, precious metals. Last on the list is precious metals. Rich folks are famed for wearing expensive wristwatches, gold chains, platinum rings, and other pieces of exquisite jewelry. Apart from the fact that it makes them feel good, they could also yield some profit in the future. Gold bars or coins are common acquisitions for wealthy people. For thousands of years, gold was the world's most popular investment. It is pretty, can be bent, reshaped, and stored for as long as you can imagine. There are several ways rich people can invest in gold. The first method of owning gold is by buying gold bullion or coins, and this is one of the easiest ways rich people put their money into gold. This is not such a straightforward business though, as there is a chance you can lose money if the value of gold bars or coins drop. Rich people buy gold with the expectation that they can sell it at a reasonably higher amount than they bought it for. However, it's quite difficult to predict future gold prices. In the 1990s, an ounce of gold sold for around $300. In the 2000s, political and economic crisis led to a rush in the purchase of gold. The high demand for gold caused a spike in prices. In fact, between 2009 and 2011, gold prices rose from $800 an ounce to $1,900. The next method of buying gold is by buying gold stocks. Rich people can invest in gold without even touching it, and they do this by buying gold from gold mining companies. The advantage of this is that if the price of gold drops, the investor will not necessarily be at a loss since a mining company can focus on another metal and their shares will remain intact. There is one disadvantage with owning mining stocks, however, and this is that the investor can lose money if there is a decline in the market in general, and share values drop, even if the price of gold is steady. A mining company's stock price can drop in the case of a mining disaster, which may lead to a loss of lives and bad press. Still, most rich individuals who invest in these companies understand this risk and are willing to take it. Finally, there is a purchase of gold through ETFs or exchange-traded funds. Doing this eliminates the risk of uncertainty that comes with buying shares of a particular company. These funds are pools of money from investors that are poured into a variety of gold and mining companies. ETFs are traded like stocks. Some of the most popular ones are GLD, GDX, and GDXJ. Other metals rich people invest in are iridium, rhodium, and platinum. As I mentioned at the beginning, becoming rich can't be achieved in a day, unless you win the lottery, of course. Other than that, money has to be reinvested over and over to multiply your wealth. So besides buying life's luxuries, the rich focus their money on purchases that will increase their bank balance over time. Thanks for watching. If you want to go from the life you have to the life you deserve, then hit the subscribe button now.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Sir Ahab 08